Okay, so let's talk about this for a moment. Let me see some results. I'm going to look at Riley's, and a number of you are working with Taken by Storm. We're going to look at that article as well. JC, tell me about the article that you pulled out. What was the basic idea about it?
It's about teachers protesting school in Chicago.
Excellent. Chicago teacher strike, major news event right now. What's your quotation?
We need teachers, we need books.
We need teachers, we need books. Excellent. Who's speaking that quotation?
The teachers.
And so just the teachers in general? Okay. Any idea why the author would include a quotation that says, we need teachers, we need books? What does that do for the article? I want to throw that out to the entire class, because this is the challenging question. JC has said, we're reading about the Chicago teachers strike. The author included the quotation that has the teacher saying, we need teachers, we need books, exclamation point. Why is that article, or why is that quotation included in the article? No reason? Here, let's do it this way. Oops. Try it a little bit differently. You've got a quotation that says, we need teachers. JC, was teachers followed by a comma or a period or an exclamation? Comma. Looks like that. No exclamation mark. Just a period? No punctuation at all? We need teachers, we need books. Why do that instead of doing this? They ultimately convey the same idea. We need teachers, we need books. Or I could write as an author, the teachers felt that they were being treated as if they were unimportant. Why use this instead of this? Andrew.
Because that's the teachers reading books. It makes it sound like they really care about the kids instead of themselves.
So are you saying that there's a little bit more emotion in this? Why else? Andrew?
I feel like they want them to do better.
Okay, so once again on the emotion side of things. Who said this? Oh, I'm sorry, JC, do you have an answer?
I was going to say it's short to the point.
Oh, I do like that. This is shorter. This has more impact, doesn't it? And actually, JC, that was one of the things that I was thinking too. Jenna?
I was going to say it shows one's actual perspective.
Because I'm the author, right? In this whole thing, I'm not a real person. Because I'm not a Chicago teacher. I'm just a news reporter. But this is an actual teacher. All of those are fantastic answers. And I'd say all of them are correct. So why do I include a quotation? Man, I want impact, and that quotation does it nicely. It's short to the point. It really hits the nail on the head. It also has a lot of emotion, more emotion than I can give through my own words. So I want that emotion in there. And I'm nobody. They're somebody. I want their actual perspective. So the author uses the quotation. And when that person's out there interviewing and taking down all those quotations or recording them, trust me, the news reporter hears that and says, oh, that quotation's going in my writing for those 3 reasons. What I want you doing today is taking a look at quotations and trying to understand the many varied reasons that an author would use them. I don't want you simply reading news articles. I want you understanding how they're written. You've done enough summary. main ideas, details, give me the title, blah, blah, blah. That's elementary school stuff. That's where we start. I want you more on high school level material, which is thinking about why an author has made certain decisions. Let's keep going on with some more examples. Okay, let's see. 7-year-old Colorado girl recovers from bubonic plague. This one came from Riley. So Riley, obviously the title pretty much captures it, right? And she's alive, so yay, good. What's the quotation? Where is the quotation? Right here. Okay, Sean Downing. All right, we've got this quotation. I didn't know what was going on. I just reacted, Sean Downing said. I thought she died. Who is Sean Downing? The dad of the victim. Excellent. I want somebody else to answer besides Riley, because this is her article. You can probably tell why. Why include that quotation? Yeah. Show how the father felt. We want the emotion of the father, right? And it only comes through his words, not mine. Andrew. It intensifies, gives the emotion. Excellent. So we're once again on the emotional impact, which you're absolutely correct. And why else, Jenna, would we include this? It gives authority, first-hand perspective. I'm an author that wants authority, so I use people who actually were there. Is Sean Downing some sort of bubonic plague expert? Riley, he's not a scientist, right? He's not a doctor. So what is he expert in? What's he expert in? Nothing. But he was there. That's the point. He's not an expert, but he was there. He's a first-hand witness. Taken by storm. We got to take a look at this picture because it's a super cool picture. Ah! That's water. Dahlia, you're working with this one, right? Tell me which quotation you pulled. I'll read this paragraph for everybody. We're going to take a look at the quotation and see why this one's used. A storm must have very strong winds to be called a hurricane. Quote, once the winds reach speeds of 39 miles per hour, it's strong enough to become a tropical storm, says Dennis Feltgen. He studies weather at the National Hurricane Center. When those winds reach 74 miles per hour or higher, the storm can be classified as a hurricane. Dahlia, was Dennis Feltgen there during the hurricanes? No. Yeah, we don't know. So he's not there. So no longer do we have the authority of just being there on site. So why use this quotation? Okay, good. But why don't they use my quotation? Hurricanes are really bad, says Alex Clarkson, teacher at McCord Junior High. He studies weather at the National Hurricane Center. He's not an expert because he's there. He's an expert because he's an expert in weather, in meteorology. He's still adding authority. I want you thinking about why your quotation is placed in your article. A little bit of thinking can unlock an author's purpose. And then when you're using quotations, you can use them on purpose also. Let's recap and let's think about some other ideas. So you guys threw out some great ideas. I love all three of these. Let me give you my list, and we're going to add some of yours to mine. Here's one on my list, and yes, you should probably take this down as notes on a separate sheet of paper because you're turning in this little activity to me. You mean your spiral? Yeah. As long as it comes out. Remember that spiral's for writing material. This is a research thing. Using quotations in news writing. Why would you do it? You've given some fantastic answers, but we'll see a couple others that I have too, and we'll add yours. There's the first one. This is a different one. Give the character of the speaker. Acquaint the person with, or acquaint the reader with. And acquaint the reader with means introduce the reader to, familiarize the reader with an important person from the story. Riley's story about the girl suffering from bubonic plague is about a person. It's an about event, sure, but it's also about this 7-year-old girl. If you wrote that story and you never had a quotation from her, you'd be making a mistake. Because the story's about her. We want to hear from her. She's alive, so we can hear from her. The only time we'd skip quotations from her is if she were not able to speak. So the story's about that person. I want to hear that person's words. It's integral, important, essential to understanding the story. There's one reason. Second, you guys already covered. Hurricane guy, the weather guy. I want authority. I want an expert. Second or first period, I can't remember which one. Somebody's talking about somebody who broke their spine during a football practice or a game, a spinal injury. Which authority do you think was quoted? Somebody's breaking their spine. What sort of authority would you want to quote in that article to really help readers understand the medical condition? Quote the doctor. Thank you, Logan. You're absolutely correct. The doctor was quoted. So you get some authority. Or, like JC was saying, man, that's got impact. It's short, to the point. It's interesting use of language. That works perfectly. We need teachers. We need books. The rallying cry. Sometimes a quotation is just too good to pass up because it sounds good. And I had written here other reasons. I'll add some. Andrew's reason. It might really carry emotion that you want the reader to feel. Or, and this is a variation on what Jenna was saying, it might really connect you to the event because you're hearing from somebody who was there. I see 5 reasons, and I could see us discussing examples and coming up with another reason, but those 5 are really good. Probably cover just about everything you're looking at there. So I want you to take a look at that separate sheet of paper you're going to turn into me. Look at your answer to number 3. See if you're explaining yourself in the way that I'd like you to explain yourself. Giving one of those 5 reasons or coming up with one on your own. And if you do come up with one on your own, tell me about it. I'd like to hear about it. But on the next current events report, due next week, there will be a new section on it. And the new section will be about quotations. And I will ask you to answer those 3 questions. What's the quotation? Who said it? Why did the author include it? And for this little activity, no penalty if you're totally off base, because I'm just going to give you some feedback. And maybe Mia's totally right about everything she's saying. I'm going to say, good, then Mia knows, she knows what she's talking about. She's good to go for the next assignment. maybe Michaela makes a mistake. I give her some feedback. I say, no, actually, here's what you're looking for. Michaela sees it. No penalty, no point loss. And then she fixes her mistake for the next time. So think about it right now. Tighten that up. And then take another look at your current events report before you hand it in. Mrs. Lemmerbrock and I all day have been seeing students who are making mistakes on titles. They're making mistakes throughout the current events report. Double check yours. And we have time. If you feel like trading it with somebody else so that they can check it as well, do that. But you are turning in 2 pieces of work for me today. Little in-class activity on quotations that you did and the current events report. So make sure they're both tightened and fixed.